What's going on, guys? My name is Nick, or Olson Auto, and I have a couple huge updates for the Accord, and we're actually installing a new mod today. It's the second Go Fast part, if you will. Not that it's going to go any faster, only looking at like 7 to 10 horsepower depending, but it'll be fun. It's something I've been wanting to do. But first, I gotta go over the Accord, and obviously there are some differences from the last time you guys saw it. Before I get into this video, guys, I just want to remind you that if you want to keep seeing content like this and you want to make your clapped out Honda go faster, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And if you do like this one, be sure to drop a like as well. So the last time you guys saw it was a totally stock body. All I had were coilovers, I had done the control arm bushings, and headlights. Now I have a front lip installed that I've been destroying because the car sits so low, which is awesome. That's exactly what we wanted. Carbon fiber wrapped the hood. Obviously it's not real carbon. I don't have money for that, not yet. We have 2012 Civic Si 17-inch rims, and just the other day I installed 4 new drilled and slotted rotors front to rear with ceramic pads. Those brakes work awesome. It was $100 for 4 rotors and pads. Super good deal. I installed these, the things that are falling off. We're not going to comment on that. Installed those. I have a 7th gen facelift wing on a new trunk. This trunk is not dented. Obviously the paint's not good, but compared to my old trunk, way better. I'm still looking at getting the facelift trunk as well to match, but I can't find one. If you guys know anyone who's got one, hit me up. I also tinted the taillights, which looks awesome. And the first Go Fast performance part is this OBX catback exhaust. It is stainless all the way up to the cat. Then I put in a new cat and a new downpipe. So I fixed my exhaust leak that I had, and it sounds awesome. The thing has a decent rumble to it. It pops like crazy whenever you downshift. It sounds sweet. So hopefully I'll get some clips in this video of both the intake we're installing in the front and some exhaust clips. Now I also installed underglow, but I had to take out the wires. I technically moved out to college already, so I didn't want the wires to keep falling out. It's not permanent. Still got to fix it up a little bit, but the lights are all affixed. The control box is affixed under the hood. It's wired in. I just have to get new extensions because I was kind of drifting down a dirt road and they ripped off. Besides the point, we're installing an intake today, so let's put this cheap $50 eBay short ram in the car. So if you guys remember, the only under the hood mod I have that's aftermarket is the painted valve cover, and I only did that because it looked like trash and I had to take the valve cover out anyway. This right here is a control box for the underglow, for those of you who are wondering. Just 3M double-sided adhesive, super sturdy. So yeah, we're gonna take this old chunky airbox out. We're deleting this. I don't know what it is. If someone knows, comment down below, but I have no idea. I assume it's some part of the PCV, maybe? I have no idea. I also don't have the sensor here that other people have. Like, it's blocked off when I bought this new hose. And there is also no wire to plug it in, even if I did have it. So, also, if anyone knows what that sensor is, hit me up. But I don't have it, so we're gonna put the MAF on the new piece right here. And then take out this big chunky box and hopefully get a good 7 horsepower. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off our mass airflow sensor. Now some people do delete this. I'm not going to. It's a pretty important sensor and I really don't feel like having to tune the car quite yet. So we're leaving that in there. I do plan on doing a proper cold air at some point once I do a trunk mounted battery. Because obviously the short ram is just going to put the filter here. The cold air would route it down and into there somewhere, which would be proper cold air, but it means you have to move the battery. So we're just going to do the short ram because it was cheapest. So the first step, 2 Phillips heads should take the MAF sensor off. And then we're going to use a socket to pop these 4 bolts off, take off the top half of that. A flat, well, you guys are going to have a different clamp on the upper intake tube. But take that off. I think it's like a 4.5 socket to take it off on that end. That'll take off the tube. Use some pliers, pull off those hoses, and then unbolt the box. And there's your mass airflow sensor. This little clamp right here is a 5.5. We're just going to loosen it enough. Oh, actually, yeah. Don't have to go too loose with it. Just enough so that it can actually move. That's not enough. Loosen that and then loosen this. Alright, so I got this loose and I pulled the tube off. What I've done now is I've loosened this. There are 4 screws, or 8 millimeters. You're going to need an extension as well. There's this, there's one right here, and then there's one down there holding this box on, or holding the top half of the box. You're going to take those off, and then you're going to pull the top half off, and then we're going to unbolt the box itself. So here is the monstrosity, and got to undo this last bolt, and then it should pop right off. So you can go ahead and just pull these 3 off right here, and then this is your top half. Leave that over there because that ain't going back in. As you can tell, I have a nice new air filter because I actually do maintenance on my cars. Don't know what that white fuzzy stuff is. Maybe I hit a bunny. Don't know, don't care. Bunny's dead. It happens. Now we're going to unbolt the box itself. See, 1 bolt there. 1 bolt. Okay, that's the only bolt that, oh, there's a bolt up there. So there's probably going to be 4 bolts if I had to guess. We're going to undo those 4. And then it's probably going to pull out right here. There's a little rubber coupler. And then hopefully that box will come out. So before I go too far, I want to talk about what this kit came with. So it came with 2 rubber couplers. One of them is same diameter. This one steps down a little bit. It came with this piece, which is where your mass airflow sensor is going to go. It came with this piece, which is where your PCV thing and the other hose that I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's where those are going to go, and that's what the red hoses that are supplied are for. And then of course you have your fake K&N, your NNK Chinese air filter that's literally no different than a K&N, and a bunch of clamps, and this weird bracket that I probably won't use. So now that we've had that off, let's take the box out. So one of the bolts snapped, which is really weird because Honda bolts are usually pretty good, especially when they're not rusty, but apparently she didn't like me putting some torque on her, but snapped is out. So I ended up pulling the lower part of the airbox off. This was bent, so I assume that wasn't on there too well. It was just those 2 bolts. There's the one up top that broke off, and then there's the one down here. Obviously we have a ground wire that's not, it's seen better days. It's kind of just falling apart in my hand, so that's funny. But now we're gonna go ahead. This is where our new intake will sit. I believe I have to take this off. I'm not sure what I'm doing, because those 2 are attached together right there. Oh yeah, I also don't have a battery strap, but that's fine. Alright, so this is it roughly mocked up. I bolted in the mass airflow sensor. It's just 2 screws that came included. I tightened all these clamps down. It's still a little loose. There's supposed to be some bracketry. This little thing and these 2. These 3 pieces right here came with it, and I really don't know how that's supposed to help hold this thing in place. And I figured out how the metal bracket worked. So it came with 2 little L brackets, or 1 little L bracket, and then it's bent down at the bottom. The bent down at the bottom piece actually, if you can see it, bolts to the original airbox bolt. So right there, that's the original airbox bolt holding it down, and then it goes up, and included was that little bracket right there that bolts to the longer one, and then I went in the clamp with it. So the clamp is essentially clamping itself to the car, and as you can see, it's much more sturdy. You're not going to move that. There's no noise. I did end up zip tying the battery, holding it, and then also got it a bit more sturdy. Managed to hold it down so it didn't fly and hit that. And I also fixed my underglow, which I will show you right now. So this is the app. You just hit I agree, hit the name of it. It connects just like that. Turn it on. I'll make it red. And it's going to be pretty hard to see because it's daytime, but red LEDs under all 4 corners, so that's pretty cool. I'm just filming this clip after, like this is a couple days after while I'm editing the video. just because I wanted to give a little update, and I wanted to make sure you guys know how I got that to hold down using their bracket. And because I don't want you guys thinking the underglow is broken, I got it fixed. So she's looking pretty killer. And obviously I have to cut these hoses because they're way too long, which is fine. I expected them to be. But what I essentially did, so somewhere right here you have this little box that goes into the stock tube. Sits in like this. Or sorry, it sits in like this, I believe. And basically I took it off of this thing because that bottom hose right there is coolant right here. That's coolant. You can't really take off this whole thing. So you leave this stock, and then you unbolt this. You can toss it away. And then you just do the red hose, right? The bigger red hose, the thicker one right here. Oh my, I like how my transmission dipstick fell out. That's cool. Anyway, and then you do the smaller hose, which goes from that thing in there, which I'm going to throw a clamp on, and then it goes right onto here. Got to get some smaller clamps, cut those up, and figure out how to make this a bit more stable, but looks like it bolts it up pretty well. I want to get the Acura plastic cover right here, because it's actually silver with red font, and it would match that super well, so I think I'm going to grab that. It says the same exact thing right there, and it should bolt right up. It's for the Acura TSX. I'm going to grab that. Gonna button this up. Again, I want to try and get that a bit more stable. And cut those hoses, and then I'll catch up with you in just a second. Alright, so I kind of skipped the part where I installed it, which is what you guys are here for. But a simple idea is, it is really just a lot about messing around with it and putting it where you want it. Obviously there is one general way where it fits, but you can rotate this a bit more and it'll still fit. You know, either way, there's some room here to play with. So it is sort of just put all the clamps on, get it tight enough so that it holds, but not too tight so that you can't move it. I'd recommend putting some WD-40 on the piping so that you can slide these on and off easier, the red couplers. And then really just kind of get it where you want it. That's really all there is to it. When you get these hoses on, I used clamps on the big hose but not on the small one. Again, WD-40 will help you get those on. Mass floor sensor, you want to make sure you have that back in, plugged in and bolted down. And then make sure this is tight, obviously, before you start it. So we're going to start it. And one thing I recommend doing is getting a can of brake clean. And then you can spray it at all these connections, post mass airflow sensor. And I guess right here too, you want to make sure you're not getting any unfiltered air, but more importantly, unmetered air. Otherwise it's going to run like trash. So go ahead and start it up and see how she sounds. Alright, let's see if it sounds any better. Too bad we live on the side of the highway. Alright, let it warm up a little bit, give her some revs. Doesn't seem like there are any leaks, which is awesome, so warm it up, give her some revs, and see how she sounds. That sounds pretty good. Now let's go take a listen to the exhaust, because I haven't showed you guys that either. So that is the new $55 eBay short ram intake. I don't have any problems with it yet. I mean, obviously it could just fall off while I'm driving, which I wouldn't doubt, but compared to the $300 Can-Am alternative, it's the exact same thing and it does the exact same job. I'm not complaining. I'm gonna go take it for a rip. I'm gonna see if it's any faster. It probably isn't, but it sounds cool and it looks cool, so that's the definition of rice. Alright guys, just took the Accord for a little test spin. I hate to say it because I know it sounds really dumb and kind of ricey, but it is significantly faster in the higher RPMs. Like VTEC, you could feel it before, but nothing crazy. But with this thing, you can actually like feel VTEC. Once you hit 4,500 RPMs, this thing will do 60 to 80 in like a second, second and a half. It's faster now. So if you guys are looking for this, the link for this exact one will be in the description. Again, this is a 2005 Honda Accord Coupe with a K24 A4. Bone stock besides the exhaust, the intake. as far as performance mods, so you can get pretty similar results if you do what I did or do just the intake. I would say it's worth it, considering the K&N air filter is about 65 bucks, 75 bucks, and this entire short RAM was 55 bucks. So I would say it's worth it. Gives us some decent power, pretty easy to install, and it sounds pretty cool too. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below or DM me on Instagram or Snapchat. All of that information is in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.